Hey everybody, welcome back to RPG Imaginings, and as you can see, this package that arrived today is Shoggoth certified, and so that means you all know where this is from. This is from the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society in California, and when I purchased what I'm sure you all know what this is, I went ahead and got priority shipping on it. And let's go ahead and unbox this. Now, I'm not going to make the unboxing the main feature of this video. I'm going to do something a little bit different in this video because, you know, I like to keep things fresh. And in this particular case, what I thought about doing is, yes, I'm going to open the box so you can see what's in the box. I have a feeling that at this stage, given that I am one of the later unboxers of this shipment, that you've likely seen this before, but get the pack and slip out of here. I'll have to blur there because my address was right on top. Okay, lovely little packing slip there, and we have the Call of Cthulhu Classic prop set. I know that many of you have seen many videos of an unboxing of the prop set, and so in that regard, what I thought I'd do here that is a little bit different is that, yes, I'm going to open it up so anybody who maybe hasn't seen what's inside can see the basics of it, but what I thought I'd do differently is I'm going to shoot this video in two parts, and the first part is going to be tonight, you know, what you see here. And the second part is going to be after I get a chance to review one of the folders and one of the printings of the scenario that goes with particular props for that scenario. I thought that I'd do a comparison video so that you can actually see what makes contents that are within the prop set much more detailed, immersive game aids than what you would have gotten in the original scenario. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I just want to point out to everybody that these are hand-packed by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. So, you know, like many people, I got jazzed as to what was happening with the prop set as it got closer and closer, and finally caved and purchased it. And so they have been working hard to get a lot of late orders, mine included, into the situation. This is divided into folders. It's organized really nicely, and anybody who's a fan of HPLHS, you've probably seen videos before of how this is organized. You get this nice little map as to how all the props for the different scenarios are in the Asylum and Other Tales, and the core book, and the two Keeper Companions, Campaign Shadows of Yog-Sothoth, Trail of Sithagwa, okay, and finally the Haunted House, okay? And so this is what is contained within the prop set. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select one of these scenarios and compare the original handouts that came with or didn't come with the scenarios to what we have here in the box set so you can see what that upgrade looks like. Many of you know that one of the really cool aspects of this prop set is that it was printed. Some of the props have been printed on a broadsheet newspaper, and it's newspaper. It feels just like newspaper, and it is one of these really large old-time newspapers that you would find in major cities in the 1920s. And so what we have here is not only a description of contents of what's going on in the box, but in every one of these folders, there's info onto where to clip specific props for a particular scenario. And so that's going to be really cool to dive into in greater detail. Okay? So as I mentioned, these are each divided into 5 folders. I'm not going to take out all the folders because I said I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. The first part being this unboxing, and the second part being the actual showcase of how this scenario compares to another one. And you know, here's a really good example of something cool right off the bat. This is the Last Will and Testament of Walter Corbett. And so Corbett, of course, is legendary in Call of Cthulhu history, being a member of the scenario that introduces most people to Call of Cthulhu. And I wanted to highlight this one in particular because unfortunately we were planning on playing Call of Cthulhu tonight, but we had to take the evening off because one of our players is sick. And in this particular case, the game that I was going to run, that character is a central character for the game and has a really important conversation that needs to happen with an NPC. And so we felt like it was best under these circumstances to have us all just wait for our next session so that this player could have the awesome intended conversation that was going to happen in this session. It is also this player's 30th birthday on Friday, yesterday. And shout out to Kit. Happy birthday. Kit has helped me with art for some of my scenarios that I publish on the Miskatonic repository, and I'm wishing him a happy 30th birthday. And so I'm going to shut off the video now because I think many of you have seen much of the contents of the classic prop set, and I'm going to be back with an in-depth dive of what you would expect to see in comparing an original scenario with props that are part of the prop collection. So thanks everybody for watching tonight. I'm going to add on to this video a little later on, and we'll go right to the transition to part 2. Okay, hey everybody, it is the next day, and I have pulled the portions that I want to pull to sort of give you a comparison between what was in the original supplement. In this case, I've chosen the Asylum and Other Days, and what is present in the 40th anniversary Call of Cthulhu box set. Specifically the 2-inch version, because that's the only version that this supplement is contained within. And then lastly, how does this compare to the prop set and what is put out for a particular scenario for the prop set? So moving forward, the next portion of the video here is going to contain spoilers for the scenario Black Devil Mountain. That is the one that I have chosen here because I think it's a really good example of both updates and additional enhancements for a scenario that did not have a lot of handouts to begin with. And so if you're planning on playing Black Devil Mountain, I would recommend that you just don't watch the rest of the video. Okay, for those of you who have stayed, let's go ahead and dive in so that you can really see what you're getting with the prop set and with the 40th anniversary box set compared to what was included in the original scenario. And I think that this is a really good tale of how far role-playing games have come, how much work and effort artists and writers put into enhancing scenarios over time, and that a scenario can be an organic thing. It's never really done. It's just a canvas, so to speak, that we all play off of to make great experiences for our players. And I mean, I can say as a keeper myself that I will never shy away from providing the best possible experience with handouts that I can give to my players, because handouts are a huge part of what makes Call of Cthulhu Call of Cthulhu. Okay, it is a clue-based game. It is an investigative game. And whether those clues are freely given or whether those clues require a roll or some type of role-playing or attenuation to a location in order to find, it's a big part of the game. So if we look at what's listed here on the prop set, we have Black Devil Mountain, and you can see that there are quite a few things listed here. Before we go there, let's take a look at the original version of Black Devil Mountain so you can see what is going on here. Okay, so here we go. Black Devil Mountain. All right. Many early scenarios focused heavily on writing and not so much on producing high-quality handouts, and a big reason for that, my understanding, is simply that you have a limited amount of page space to work with. And of course, in the 1980s, unless you are hand drawing things, like you can see right here for the clearing, there are limited abilities for graphic design. And so Black Devil Mountain as a scenario contains two primary handouts that sort of set the mood and also do setup for the scenario. So one of them here is a letter that is given to the investigators by Cobb, Lichter, and Burns, which are attorneys in Maine. It is kind of the call to adventure. Hey, your brother, Mr. Albert Goddard, has died and we want to work on the estate with you. And then there is an unfinished letter for Albert Goddard himself. Now, there are some additional images in the scenario, okay? We have a map of 1920s coast of Maine that includes just the environ in which the scenario takes place. Now, to be fair, notice how it says see also the map on page 72. This supplement also came with a much bigger map of Maine, and the area in question here, you kind of need to do some study to sort of see what is going on here, but you can find the area in question on this map. I think it's somewhere around here is the area in question, okay? There is a depiction of Goddard's death, which looks like a firearm exploding in hand, never a good thing. And then last but certainly not least, we have a surface view of the scenario location in question and an internal view of the scenario in question. And there's no other images provided in the original scenario. Okay, let's compare this to what is contained within the Call of Cthulhu Classic Edition box set. There are 3 handouts. These were added as a stretch goal to the campaign. And these would be versions of the first 2 handouts that I mentioned when we were reviewing the original text that I would be happy to give to my players. Okay. Authentic. It's a letter. Basically what we have here is just the type copied and then altered into what appears to be like a handwritten printed format. And then it is overlaid on an old time paper. Okay. This next one is the unfinished letter by Albert Goddard himself. Okay, so definitely way better than what is provided within the scenario. These are nice includes to the 40th anniversary box set. Now, let's see what the prop set does with these things. How can we really go about increasing immersion for our games? And after receiving this prop set, yeah, I'm going to have to figure out a way to find the money to get the prop set for Masks of Nyarlathotep, because after seeing this, oh my gosh, I love what HPLHS is doing with these prop collections. So we are in folder 3, which is the folder for Asylum and Other Tales. And you can see right off the bat, we have a section where it shows you where to clip out portions of the newspaper for the Asylum. So you always get one of these little pages within each folder showing you where to cut stuff out. And there are actually multiple pages here for Asylum and Other Tales. This particular scenario does not have cutouts from the newspaper. Instead, check out what this scenario has. I'm just going to pull it out. It's all right here on the back on the left-hand side. These go with another scenario. So what we see on top here is a typewritten letter from Cobb, Lichter, and Burns. And notice that a bunch of these things are held together with a cool paper clip. So, you know, it's physical things that you get with the prop set, not just pieces of paper. So we have this typewritten letter and then a hand signature here from Horace L. Cobb. And so this is, I would say, a much more accurate depiction of what you would receive from a professional lawyer in the 1920s. Okay, so that right off the bat is really cool. Then we have a series of documents that are not included in the original scenario, but really help with the what word am I looking for? Really help with the immersion of the scenario. Okay, we have a certificate of death from the state of Maine, all typed out. And something that's really cool here that may not be showing up on the video, that this stamped right here, the ink is kind of reflective here. Okay, so that's a really cool, that really adds to the authenticity and the look of this document. And this is Ian Goddard's death certificate. Then we have transportation of corpse, Maine State Board of Health. And it's marked as pending, and this is the transport of the corpse. So when you get to the lawyer's office, you have all the appropriate documents that you would expect under these circumstances. And then finally, we have permit applications, filing fees, cash expenditures for that the lawyers made that, you know, will likely be paid in order to settle the estate here. And that's referenced in the letter as well. So that's cool. Then we have a copy of the deed to the property in question. Okay. And this looks super cool and authentic. Okay. Indicating the exact location. All right. And then, wow, look at this. That is so cool. And then backside, this is just how you fold it. Okay, and we're seeing that this was the original bill of sale in 1919 to Albert Goddard. That is awesome. Okay, we talked about that map. How about a cool atlas map of the eastern coast of Maine? And this is a full fold out. Okay, and so you would just correlate this atlas map with the map that we see in the scenario and find the location where this is. That's nifty. It's got the official seal of Maine up here in the upper right-hand corner. Nice. All right. And then last, but certainly not least, we have the unfinished letter from Albert Goddard. And this looks like it is written in a blue-black ink, which any of you in the audience who are older, you know that depending upon, what pens were used, it actually was much more common to have blue-black ink for a while than it was to have just straight-up bright blue ink. I'm not really sure of the history behind this, but this is something that, in my opinion, adds to the authenticity of the document. Some people just preferred blue-black ink to blue, and I'm not really sure why there was a distinct difference between blue-black and blue in the past. But this is handwritten. Okay. Goes all the way to the end. Dated, just like you would expect to see in a letter from the past. I would probably even maybe, depending upon the circumstances of the scenario, I would decide whether this should be folded or not and placed in an envelope. My guess is that this should probably not be folded, because I think the investigators find this when they are looking through the Goddard farm. And so a huge difference here between what is contained within the original scenario and what is contained within the prop set. And players love getting authentic documents at the table for Call of Cthulhu. It is just one of the things that, for a lot of people, myself included, is one of the most loved and anticipated aspects of the game. If you're looking to really help your players feel great about their play experiences, it says something when you take the time to provide awesome props. I always try to spend time to provide awesome props to my players, but I don't always have that time. And these prop sets are awesome in that regard. So I hope you enjoyed the mini unboxing at the start, and for those of you who stuck around, I hope you enjoyed the comparison of the original scenario to the 40th anniversary box set versions of the handouts to the prop set versions of the handouts. And the prop set versions are amazing. And so, woe to me, I'm going to be checking out the prop set for Masks of Nyarlathotep. And, I'll just have to find a way to prioritize money to obtain that at some point. But I'm convinced after receiving the prop set for the 40th anniversary. And hopefully this gives people in the audience a little insight into what to actually expect when you open up a prop set and what the improvements are like for the new materials. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day.